All right. Well, let's do this thing, guys. Let's talk about some guys that are be joining NXT pretty soon here. One of the guys is a guy we've talked about quite a bit, and that is Roderick Strong. That's a name that people have heard us talk about quite a few times, but really never officially signing and all this kind of things. Now we're under the impression completely signed. Should be appearing in actually September. Excuse me, before November, September. So I mean, I don't know, Paul. I mean, I know you're not thrilled, maybe with some of his, mic skills or anything, but do you think this guy could help?
I mean, his mic skills have never been his strength. I won't say I've never been entertained by them, but certainly NXT is a place to go to work on that if you want to polish that up, and he's already such a great wrestler. Honestly, this would be one of those guys who I wouldn't be surprised is just coming in to fill a spot in NXT and keep that add another name to that brand to keep its popularity up as it travels.
Yeah, I think Roderick Strong is a great help for the youngsters that are there, the guys that are starting to get used to, and we're going to talk about one in a second here that's just getting in there. So it's always good to have veterans and guys that have names that can draw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's a big deal because, the only way these young guys are going to get better is to wrestle veterans. And you can never get enough veteran leadership in a locker room. You can never get enough veterans in there to help these guys, whether it be in the ring or even outside the ring, helping them and understanding psychology, helping them understand what really needs to take place if you're going to be a success in this business. And so I think Roderick Strong is perfect for NXT. He's going to be a huge help for these guys. And not only that, he's going to help his career as well. He's probably going to make some decent money. He's also going to have the opportunity to be a part of the WWE family, which means future opportunities in other areas. So I look at this as a very positive thing. I think it's going to be something that's really going to make a difference when it comes to getting some of those guys into place and getting the NXT programming in a great place as well. Because, let's be honest, NXT has lost quite a few big stars. Now they're having to kind of reset. Some of the biggest names on the NXT roster now are still Nakamura. Besides that, you got Austin Aries when Roderick Strong joins. You have him. So some of those names that maybe people know will definitely keep ticket sales going. Will keep people interested. So. But let's talk about a young guy who's going to need Roderick Strong's help, and of course a lot of the other veterans, and that is Brennan Williams. Now this guy is a 6'7" former NFL player. He played for the Houston Texans. They actually drafted him in 2013 through the third round. He played for a few other teams. I know he played for the Jacksonville Jaguars, New England Patriots. So this guy's been around the league. He's played. But now he's out of the league, and he's a big fan of professional wrestling. He actually was trained by Booker T. Now, that's really kind of an interesting factor here, too, because Booker T has his own promotion in Houston. So this guy is an up-and-comer, and, we've seen guys like Moose, who are former NFL stars, who can be successful, prove that they can do this. What do you think about this? I mean, do you think that, we're going to get tons of guys out there like Moose? Because this guy kind of seems like it.
I think Moose went a very different route than what Brennan Williams was going with. Moose went from playing from the NFL and having some success in the NFL, honestly, to working the indie scene, which is a very different thing than what Brennan Williams is signing on for. It's a very different experience, one that I don't know will produce the same results, but nonetheless, if he's got the drive and the athleticism and everything else, then there's no reason he can't succeed just as much as Moose has so far.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be interesting because they've had other NFL, Percy Watson. I think they've had another couple guys. I mean, Baron Corbin's doing okay for himself, obviously. Mojo as well. They're both on the main roster right now. So, I mean, it shows that they do obviously like having these NFL guys. And that they can sort of work. I mean, Baron Corbin's obviously very much still a work in progress, and Mojo we really don't know anything about on the main roster because he hasn't really done anything. So, I mean, next week might be the first time we get to see him, honestly, in the ring at all. Or not next week, sorry. On the Tuesday SmackDown. So, this is, it's interesting. we know that they like their NFL, their football, their athlete guys, so it's not surprising at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we're going to see more of this. We're going to see athletes from all around the world, different types of athletes. We've heard of, guys out of England who played soccer. We were talking about guys who have played, hockey, anything you can think of, they've done. And, Mark Henry is a proof of that, an Olympic sports guy, strong man. So, I mean, this has been proven that it can be a success. That's the big thing here is they want to make sure that they can prove to people that they can turn these athletes into a wrestler. It's just, we're going to have to get a bigger track record. But right now they're doing pretty good, let's be honest. Talking about this and talking about guys going to NXT from the indie circuit, let's talk about the fact that Carl Anderson recently told in an interview that they were never actually approached during negotiations to come to WWE to actually sign and then go to NXT. That never came up. But he did say that him and Gallows would have went to NXT if they were asked to. So what do you think about this? I mean, apparently WWE had other plans for Carl Anderson and, of course, Gallows. But, I mean, do you think it's interesting they were never asked to go to NXT?
I find it interesting. I'm not at all surprised by it. These are guys that have big names, and with Gallows at least already having some WWE experience under his belt, I'm sure they were counting on that to sort of go over to Carl and all that good stuff. And it's not like these guys are fresh. They've been wrestling for a very long time. That being said, I kind of wish they did. They would have had some time to at least establish a moveset. And it's not like a lot has changed from them coming over from Japan, but certainly the way they've been booked and the way they've looked on television, I think a run in NXT, even if it was only for a couple months, would have been helpful.
Yeah, we kind of would go back and forth on whether they were going to NXT or what they were going to do. And this does surprise me that they were never at least once offered. I can kind of understand it because Luke Gallows was a main roster guy already, so they might have thought, okay, they don't need NXT, and sort of that's his tag partner, so I mean, what's the point? They're going to come with AJ, and he's not going to NXT either. So, I agree with Paul that it would have helped establish them. We would have got to see them tag-wise doing more than just the Magic Killer and stuff like that, and maybe really get a moveset of Carl Anderson, but get some more singles matches for Carl Anderson too. So, that's going to be interesting. It's interesting that they didn't, but,
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys are onto something. It would have been nice to see, but, in the long run, I think people were, just happy that they were on WWE TV. And, the plans that they had set forth, I think, whereas they think they knew they needed him. And I think they went ahead and pulled the trigger. Despite the fact that it would have helped, I think, all parties, they went ahead and pulled the trigger and put him on the actual main roster. So you can't blame him for that. But what's interesting is that, we have some other news with WWE that's kind of sad, and we're seeing change. We're seeing lots of great change because we're seeing young superstars joining the main roster. We're seeing veterans return like Jinder Mahal, Kurt Hawkins. We're getting a whole new situation for a lot of things in WWE. But one thing that is sad is the fact that Lillian Garcia, for basically the foreseeable future, will no longer be ring announcing or even singing the national anthem or being a part of WWE at all. Now, the reason being is not that she got fired, not that she quit out of anger or anything like that. Sadly, her father has 2 types of cancer, and so she had to stay home, be closer to him, and she's looking for work closer to her home so she can be near her father. So this is just sad news, and I hate to report this kind of stuff because, it really is depressing, and you never want to see anyone go through this. Cancer has just been such an issue, and a good friend of mine just lost his mother to cancer just this past Saturday, so it's tough. It's really, really tough. What do you guys think? I mean, is Lillian Garcia going to be definitely a big miss, or is she going to be someone they can easily replace? What do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, Lillian's been in and out the door of the WWE so often. It's, sometimes I don't really notice when she leaves. But this time around, this might be. I won't say it'll be longer, but certainly it's going to hit harder for her because she's left before to pursue a singing career and all this other stuff, and it didn't really work out. This sucks. This is really depressing. Cancer is an awful, awful disease, and battling two types at the same time. I can only imagine the personal hell her father's going through. It's got to be miserable. So, I mean, best wishes to her and her entire family who have to, get to soldier along with her dad as he battles on two fronts here.
That's terrible to hear. I mean, we've heard it before that she was going through this with him. That whole week that she didn't miss, or that she missed during the time when they were doing cuts, made people think that she was being released by WWE anyway. And this sucks that she has to go, but good that she can be there with her dad and help take care of him.
Definitely. And, our prayers and wishes go out to Lillian Garcia and her family and her father. I mean, this is just not an easy time, and you hate to see someone have to, leave and go take care of something like this. But, best wishes. Let's talk about something on a brighter note, and hopefully this will bring those frowns to a smile. We'll actually have Cody Rhodes facing off against Maka Elgin at House of Glory. What do you think about that?
It's pretty cool. House of Glory is a promotion up in New York run by the Amazing Red. It's kind of stepped up to the forefront as one of those, a nice mid-level promotion. Cody Rhodes is also wrestling Chris Hero here in Dallas on September 8th over at VIP Wrestling, which I'm really looking forward to. I might go to that. So, Cody Rhodes going around everywhere.
Yeah, you guys need to check that out for sure. I mean, this is awesome. Michael Hogan's been fantastic in New Japan. What's funny is every time he comes to the U.S., though, he regrets it and wants to go back to Japan because they don't seem to react the same way to him there. But with Cody Rhodes, they're going to have a good match, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch for sure.
Definitely, and man, now I'm really interested in those shows in Dallas. Where is that show actually going to be? Actually, is it Arlington?
It's out in Arlington, out at St. Jude's Hall. Which is literally a stone's throw away from Six Flags.
Yeah, that's awesome. Not to make that way over there. Another, big announcement here is Mickie James is actually going to be a part of Shimmer for the shows in November.
I'm sure Patrick is wetting himself in anticipation for that, but that's a big get. I think the Shimmer's anniversary shows are being taped there. They're doing the bigger house and all that good stuff. So that's a huge draw for him, and looking forward to see what Mickie James can do on those shows. There's a lot of great talent there to work with.
Yeah, I mean, Patrick already told me, he's like, yeah, I'm waiting on this. So it's going to be some fun stuff to see what comes out of that and who she gets to wrestle and everything. So awesome for Shimmer, and cool Mickie James back in the limelight,
Definitely. It's really, really cool. One last thing here for us guys today on Quick Hits. It's going to be some talk about the Super J Cup, and we have some matches announced. Sean, what do you want to talk about these? Kind of break these down for us.
What is there not to talk about for these matches? I mean, it's like as I mentioned, on the New Japan thing. It's orgasmic what's going on with this card. I mean, I love the fact too that each of their their big partners gets like a showcase match here. You have the tournament that ACH and Taiji Ishimori just won, and go find the picture of that just to see ACH's reaction to the check that he gets. It's pretty awesome. And you get the GSC Junior Tag Team title match with Tsushi Kotoge and Daisuke Harada against ACH and Taiji Ishimori. I mean, you get Young Bucks and Motor City Machine Guns, which when Motor City Machine Guns were in New Japan, they were great. I mean, so, Paul, I mean, dang, lots to sink your teeth into here.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple six-mans on here. You got CMLL represented with Hitan Caristico, which is the Sin Cara or Mystico or whatever you want to call him, and Valador Jr. taking on Gran Guerrero, Euphoria, and Ultimo Guerrero, which would be really fun. You have the opening six-man, which is Aita, Yuma, Aoyagi, and David Finlay taking on Garukin Mask, Kaji Tomato, and good old Bushi. So you got a lot of you got the losers bracket there essentially in the opener, and then of course the Super J Cup quarterfinal, semifinal, and finale all on this show. So I'm really, really looking forward to this. This is going to be a great show. Even if you're just a fan of junior wrestling style and high flying and all that good stuff, you check this out. You don't even need to know what's going on with any of the promotions. It's just going to be a really, really fun show to watch.
And then I mentioned this the same morning as SummerSlam. So we get a terrific double shot that we have to do that night of Super J Cup and SummerSlam.
Wow.
And possibly also NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, because I don't know that we're going to do a show that Saturday night. So 3 shows, one night. Oh, my God.
Wow.
You guys ready?
Riff W2M.
Yes.
Yes. The day that all of us go to die, right there.
Yeah.
August 21st. You can put it on the docket.
Yeah, there you go, guys. Whew, I'm not looking forward to killing ourselves, but we're going to have to. But anyway, well, that is Quick Hits, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. We are going to go and talk about some Ring of Honor next. There's some interesting stuff going on there we want you to know about. So we'll be right back with Ring of Honor Talk.
Ooh. All right, Bo.
All right, so Ring of Honor opens with a video package recapping last week's episode with the whole drama with the Bullet Club and Kyle O'Reilly in the world title match. And if you haven't watched last week's episode of Ring of Honor, go do that because it's incredible. And after all that in the opening credits, we go to Lethal coming out to address what happened last week, and they also add that he'll be defending the ROH World title once again on the next show against Colt Cabana, which I'm super psyched for. And he talks about a lot of stuff that just wasn't right last week, like what happened to Kyle O'Reilly, Bullet Club stealing his opportunity, and Jay doing what he had to do against Kyle O'Reilly and how much he hated it. So to sort of set things right, Lethal wants to add himself and Adam Cole to the main event where he'll team up with the Briscoes to take on Adam Cole and the Young Bucks, to which the crowd really pops for, starts a yes chant. Nigel agrees. And Lethal bangs on the commentary desk and says, "Tonight we make things right," as he makes his exit. And it's a pretty solid opener, if you ask me.
Yeah, very solid, and this is, something that I think people were kind of curious about, because of the fact that, Jay Lethal kind of alluded to a lot in last week's episode of Ring of Honor that he was not thrilled about the fact that Kyle O'Reilly was wrestling injured. Kind of, played it off like, well, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to win my belt. There's no way I'm going to lose it, but I'm going to go easy on this guy. And he did at times until it came down to, hey, I could lose my belt. So he made sure he put away Kyle O'Reilly. But in this instance, you actually get something where he actually gets in depth with this whole situation, kind of tells you how he feels. And I think it's a good setup, and it also sets up a great match later on. So I was completely happy with the way this all started out. But man, it's so weird at times to see Jay Lethal in this role because, you're so used to him being selfish in a, role of the heel that he does so good of a job playing. Right now he's as sweet as candy, if you ask me.
I don't know about sweet as candy, but he's certainly very intent on doing right by the ROH World title, doing right by the people he's stepping into the ring with. And it's very much turned into an ROH versus the Bullet Club story here, which so far has been really thrilling because they've done a great job, I think, of making the Bullet Club look like great heels, even though the crowd still loves them. These guys, they're not doing cool heel things. They're just being straight up dicks, and that's what really works for them. Yeah,
I agree. And, I think I'm loving the fact that, Jay Lethal is, saying, what, I'm going to put my differences aside and put Ring of Honor first. I think that's neat and everything. And I get, the face roll is kind of odd for him, at least in this instance. But I think it's going to make him better when we get back to the whole Bullet Club thing, settles down, goes away, whatever they have, taking place with that. And you get back to the meat of the matter, and you get Truth Martini back and all the other stuff. I think it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to him getting back to the heel.
Yeah, for sure. We follow all that up. There's a video package with Steve Corino where he's talking to Kevin Sullivan, and it's shot very interestingly. You have a bunch of white light around them, and they're sitting on like this park bench, and it feels very much like almost like how you would imagine people talking in the afterlife. And he's talking about his match with BJ, and he doesn't really care so much about what has happened. He just wants to know why Kevin really hit him, why he singled him out. And Kevin Sullivan brings up that lineage of hatred and how it passed from King IK to him, and he passed it on to both BJ and Steve. And he sort of gives Steve an out, saying you can go home and play house and be with your kids and your wife if you want to, but what I really want is for you to do the right thing. And that's sort of left up in the air about what the right thing is.
Yeah. Very interesting video for sure. I mean, I don't know if I liked it or I hated it. I don't know. I mean, I get the subject matter, and I'm glad they're continuing it because they need to. But on the other hand, I don't know that it's real strong. I have to say that. I don't know if the storyline is really strong at all. And they took so long to get to the match itself between, BJ and Corino. But with this whole, instance where, it's all about backstory and things like that, especially for new viewers, especially guys like me who, don't know just a ton about Kevin Sullivan, you get a little bit lost in translation just because you don't really respect the history because you don't know it. So I think that's a little bit of odd stuff to kind of contend with, but I appreciate that they are trying to be different, that they're playing a video package that is so artsy in a way. Mm-hmm. But then again, like I said, storyline, it's almost like, do I care? That's the question I have to keep asking myself.
I don't know if I care about the storyline. I'm certainly interested in it. Like, it's very different. It's very outside the usual fare that Ring of Honor has gone with in the past. And they've touched on some stuff here and there, especially when you get into some old Legacy of the Fall and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure I've said that wrong, but you have some older stuff that you tie into where they kind of went a different route, and this is one of those stories that they're going for here. And if this spins off into something that helps younger talent grow, like Steve Corino embracing the line, sort of trying to find a way to pass it along, then that's totally cool. So long as this has a definite end and it passes on to some of the other talent that I have going around Ring of Honor, I think that's what I'm really invested in.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I hope that's what happens.
So we cut back to ringside. P-Dog and his posse, the Get Along Gang, are in the ring. P-Dog, if you've never seen him before, is his gimmick. He's a terrible white rapper. He does his terrible rap and calls out Moose. And seeing as you've probably never heard of P-Dog, you can already tell where this is going, and it's Squash City, baby. 2 spears, a big buckle bomb. Moose pretty much runs him over, and that's that there. But we're not done with Moose yet. Prince Nana comes out. He's got Donovan Dijak in tow. He sort of plays to respecting Moose and talks about how he brought him in and how he's ended up with Stokely. And he wants to do a match between Moose and Dijak to sort of look at who the king of the big man in Ring of Honor is. We get a handshake and Nana and Stokely, between Nana and Stokely, and we have a match. And I dare say it's pretty good for a big man match. They trade big blows, they trade big moves. It goes both ways, but seeing as we already know where Moose is, you already know how this is ending, and Dijak ends up getting the win with a big boot combination followed by a big fist and then a feast your eyes, which is absolutely brutal, and Moose sells extremely well to get the victory.
Yeah, I agree. Pretty good match here, and it was interesting that we were going to have this. In fact, I thought Moose was gone. I thought he was done. This must have been the final match. At least I'm thinking so. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe next week we'll get another Moose match. But it seems like this is the right direction because, you need to put Dijak over. You need to make him look strong, and that's what you do as you leave the company. You get the guy over. And I appreciate that. I'm a Dijak fan in a way because I think that, he's got some potential. So, in the end of the day, this is a great big man match for two guys to kind of get involved in, just kind of fly around at their pace. I enjoyed it. Outside of that, though, I mean, the whole Prince Nana stuff was kind of interesting, why he introduced it, but I think it's just a way of him to take over. Stokely Hathaway, I mean, he ate a big boot, man. He ate it good. So I'm sure he's still spitting out some of that boot.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of funny at the end there, too. So, I mean, it's just a way to maybe get Moose along, but I appreciate, what they're doing for Dijak.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they spin this out to Stokely looking for somebody else, seeing as Moose is sort of lost to pair up with, and then him and Nana can feud over all this good stuff and continue something and get Dijak into a feud outside of flirting around with, oh, I left the House of Truth, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
So we get a string of promos here. First, we go backstage with the Addiction, who pretty much talk about the tag division, how great they are, and all that good stuff. Pretty much big self-promotion there. They have a video to go over the Bullet Club shenanigans that happened at Global Wars to hype up the main event some more, as well as the rematch between Lethal and Cabana that's happening next week. And then we have a promo from the Cabinet backstage where they continue to talk about saving pro wrestling, how they have problems with everybody like the Young Bucks and their spottiness and all the super kicks. So they suggest building a wall around them, which will be paid for by all their T-shirt sales, which is fairly clever because, they broke pro wrestling tees during their sale pretty much. They run down short people in Ring of Honor, and then they talk about people who are not as smart as they are. And before they leave, Caprice Coleman maybe unwittingly calls them the Team of Terror, which completely goes against everything that they're going for in this Trump vibe, but whatever. What did you think about all these promos, Gary?
The Addiction or the Addiction. That you got what you get out of that. This whole Cabinet thing. Oh my goodness. I mean, I'm sorry, but the whole thing where the Young Bucks are going to build a wall around themselves and they're going to pay for it. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So yeah, I get it. They're doing the whole Trump shtick. It's pretty funny. Of course, WWE's doing their version. Make Darren Young great. But yeah, I mean, these promos were pretty funny, pretty good. I mean, nothing just to be super excited about, but I thought they were good for what they were worth.
I mean, it's the first Cabinet promo I haven't absolutely outright hated. So there's that. That's
Oh yeah. They are pretty annoying. I can't lie. I'm not a Cabinet fan, but this was funny.
Yeah, they're a little much to take sometimes. But we have the main event now: Bullet Club of Adam Cole and the Young Bucks teaming up to take on Jay Lethal and the Briscoes. It's pretty much a fun 6-man sprint that you're used to seeing in Ring of Honor these days. Lots of dives, lots of 6-man brawls, lots of people ignoring the tags to keep the string of moves going. They do a fun spot where Mark goes up to the top rope after running a train on everybody, and he gets tossed off into a table, and he's hauled off to the back. So it's pretty much 2-on-3. And fortunately, Jay Lethal and Jay Briscoe are former world champs. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't have been treated as well. And after hitting a lethal injection on Cole, Lethal manages to roll up Matt for the win. And that kind of spells the end for the Faces because they get the beat down big time. Briscoe is dealt with and sent to the outside. They hold the Young Bucks, and Adam Cole hit a pair of triple super kicks on Lethal. He also takes a Tiger Driver on a chair, which is pretty nasty. And Adam Cole goes to the outside, grabs the scissors and some buzz clippers, and murders Lethal's dreads. And that's why he's bald, guys. It's because Adam Cole's a glorious, glorious dick.
Oh, poor Lethal. Poor Lethal. But then again, maybe not. Maybe this heat is getting hit to him too, and he's enjoying that cool, air on his bald head. But that's a great way to really get a feud heated up. I really enjoyed this match. I'll start there. It was a lot of fun. It was nothing out of the ordinary. Don't get me wrong. So I'm not saying it was just amazing, but it was good. It was it was entertaining. So you get what you get out of that, and I like the fact that Lethal was able to get the pin and be the victor here with the Briscoes. But the most important thing here is where's the future? Where are we going? And I think the direction we're going, and I think everybody else is kind of saying this too, is Adam Cole is going to still be in the title picture. And how is that going to be? Well, this is how it's going to be because those dreads are no longer there. Jay Lethal took pride in that. That was a big part of his, pride, the hair and, presentation. So now he's got a reason to hate these guys, a reason to hate Adam Cole. So I think it was smart, and I think that they did a good job in ending the show like that. It keeps you guessing, and you want to know more. Now I really, am excited about next Monday to find out, what happens next.
Yeah, I mean, we've already heard the announcement that it's going to be Adam Cole challenging Jay Lethal for the ROH World Title at Death Before Dishonor on August 19th on pay-per-view. Cheap shill there for Ring of Honor. And with what happened last week, the interesting part to keep watching Ring of Honor television has been how are they going to get to that point after Nigel told Adam that he was never going to get another title match so long as he was the matchmaker. And they really kept stressing that point. I thought, well, maybe they're going to take Nigel out of the matchmaking position, but with Jay getting his haircut and all that good stuff, there's plenty of reason, more fuel to the fire for that feud, and Jay's probably practically going to beg Nigel for that title match. So interesting, and they got that big title match with Lethal and Cabana next week on ROH. So lots of carryover from television, which is so great to see from Ring of Honor after how they worked their television earlier this year with all the New Japan crossover. And man, I'm really looking forward to next week. They've done a great job these last two shows now, really wanting to keep you coming back for more.
I totally agree, and they're doing better in all phases. It's just not the in-ring action. It's also when it comes to the promos, some of these video packages. They've really put a lot of work and effort into them, and it just makes these shows so much easier to watch, and it makes them a lot more interesting. It's not just, I can fast forward through this because it's just the same old shtick. No, you can't, because they've actually added some quality things that you got to sit and watch and actually enjoy. So.
Very true.
All right. Well, that is Ring of Honor. We pretty much are done this episode. We really appreciate everybody checking us out tonight. Of course, sorry for the technical difficulties earlier. That's my bad. It happens. Next time I'll double check where my cord's plugged in. Power sources are very important to laptops. I think most people know that. But anyway, we are going to be, of course, available on the W2M network, like a lot of other great podcasts. You don't want to miss out on the action. So go subscribe if you're not already subscribed to the W2M network. It's a big deal, trust me, because there's lots of great content there for you guys. Not just our show, other shows. And so we want you to have that opportunity to go check out as much content as you can. Also, don't forget, we do Raw reviews and SmackDown Live reviews. Go check those shows out. They are standalone shows. We, of course, are going to have the SmackDown Live one on Wednesday morning, and we've already recorded the Raw one, so that's, of course, available. Probably as you're listening to us now, it's already available in your docket, so go check that out. Plus, we're also going to do part 2 of this episode, and that'll be available for you Friday morning on the download, guys. So some very important shows for you to go check out. We appreciate everybody who's also been following along with the G1 Climax. That's right. Sean and Paul are knocking it out of the ballpark. They are covering this thing. They've already recorded several podcasts for the G1 Climax. Lots of content there for you guys as well. And, of course, once again, if you just want one place to find all that, W2 Network. That's as easy as that. You don't have to go searching for it. You just go. We already mentioned the YouTube channel. Go check out that. We also have other ways you can go check us out all over, wherever podcasts are found. So go do all that great stuff. Sean, is there anything you want to promote this week on the W2M Network?
Well, apologize actually for the part 2, the F2M AFC East show, and a bunch of other stuff. Our G1 6 and 7, night 6 and 7 coming all out late. My computer and my internet were having problems, and my upload speed was so low that I couldn't upload anything for like 2 days. So I couldn't upload the shows until like late on Sunday night. So I apologize for them being late, but appreciate everybody that checked them out. Of course, Paul and I reviewing Dragon Gate and Kobe World 2016, and of course all the other things that were on that show. So you should check it out. And of course that was the top 5 show of the year. as I am distracted by my daughter coming in here at 3:45 in the morning awake. But anyway, yeah, video games show is there as well, and we're doing a Pac-12 conference preview as well in just a little bit too.
Yeah, so great stuff coming your way, guys. So don't miss any of the action. Like I said before, we want you to be a part of it. Well, that's it for us this week, guys. We'll be back on Thursday night live on Spreaker.com, and of course available Friday morning on the download for you guys. The last thing, we just want you to always remember, from myself, from Paul, from Sean, if you're not living life to the max,
not living life at all.
You know it.
Peace.
Later.